Hello to all you lovely miniatures lovers on the interwebs. I'm Doc Young. It's a Monday. I'm here to ramble. It is now Monday the 20th of June, 2022. And I have officially started my summer break from school. From working at the school, that is. So, But the stuff that I've finished, that I'm going to show you now, is the stuff that I finished during my last week of work. So there's not that much. Or is there? Because, well, let's talk about these guys first. So in the front we have three older Reaper miniatures, metal models from their, some of their earliest sculpts. And you can tell because of the size. Now it's not just because they're women and these newer ones are men, but the older sculpts were closer to true 25mm scale, whereas nowadays they go for 28mm heroic scale, like these Bones minis in the back. So there is a size difference. I don't usually worry about that. It's not a big deal. I like the older sculpts for the ideas of them. They're often in cool poses and the like. But I do appreciate the newer ones because slightly bigger mini is easier to paint in an interesting way. You can sort of get more visual information in there with the help of your brush and your paints. Why am I blathering about this? No, mostly to explain why I still paint both kinds of figures. I still buy and paint some of the older sculpts, but I also enjoy the newer ones. Anyway, so these are all in some sort of robe, dress-like robes, and two of them have cats. I guess maybe you didn't see this one has a cat holding a cat here. Yeah. These guys are two of them very armored, one of them is very wizardry. I painted the wizard. I went for really harsh contrast on things like his hat and his little piece of his robe here, and also the cloak is fairly highly contrasted. Now when I'm zoomed in this much, it might look like too much. You're just gonna have to trust me when I say it looks better at a distance. I also experiment. I did two kinds of cloaks here. Because this one has very sharp folds, I upped the contrast there as well, while this one has very soft folds, so I tried to paint it with more smooth transitions. You can see the difference between the green on this guy's cloak and the green on this guy. They're different highlighting strategies. Though all of them are, to a large extent, the cloaks I mean, painted by wet blending, actually. They're not layered up that much. They're wet. The base coat is wet blended, and then I've put down glazes for both shade and highlight. Anyway, I kind of like them. I think they turned out pretty neat, even though they're different. They're all cool in their own unique way. But the surprise, I haven't just painted these guys. If we pan over here. Ta-da! We have a ton of troopers who, I don't know, might have come from some starship, maybe. And, well, what can I say? These have been kind of speed painted. They're not very, I haven't been super careful, so there's some sloppiness here, some spillage in a few places if you look too closely. I've tried to hide this by mostly putting a really dark shade wash in all the recesses. And yeah, but they are troopers. They're not individual characters. They're supposed to be an army, and so I don't think anybody's going to look super closely at them. You will get to see super close-ups in the still pics at the end, but be nice. I know they're a little rough around the edges. That's just the way it is. Nothing I can do about that. But anyway, what this means is, despite working a lot last week, I got a ton of stuff done. But like I said, because the reason I got all 15 of these done is because they were production lined and speed painted and like mass painted, same colors, just over and over again. They were not like they don't have any individual details to make them stand out. Don't have much more in the way of that. Units like this. I think everything that's on the docket to be painted this summer, at least, it's all unique individuals. So it's going to be tough to maintain the speed of painting. But still, a total of 21 minis in 1 week. That's nothing to sneeze at. However, it was accomplished. But let's move on to the work table. Wowee, just look at all these minis. Lot of characters, mostly human, in various stages of prep. Well, they've all been primed and have had varying degrees of paint put on them. Most of them not very much yet. Scooby here has an undercoat that is complete. Otherwise, yeah, not much. So the Scooby Gang I put on bases that are supposed to be wooden floors, because they're usually in houses, aren't they? Investigating mysterious goings on. And these were made by me with milliput and rollers. These Vikings are on pre-cast resin basis from MicroArts. These are supposed to be rock shale with snow drifts on them, but the snow is just big smooth lumps. They're the parts I haven't painted black. It's going to look really weird even if I paint it. So I think I'm going to have to use some snow effects on top of that, some of that, you know, white powder stuff, to make it look a bit more realistic. These rubber bones are just on their integral basis. So we'll see. Now that school is out, I have a lot of time to paint. We'll see how many I finish by next week. As for these dragons, well, they're not quite ready. I've started assembling them. There's still a little bit of fixing with the bases to do. I've glued them together, the metal ones at least. I need to do a little bit of gap filling with some plastic putty and fix the bases a little bit more. The base for the big dragon is not ready. It needs another day of work or so. Not in the sense of 8 hours, but I mean, what I mean is that I'm using the old type of basing grit where I use white glue to hold it down, and that takes a lot of time to dry. I usually let it set at least overnight. I like to leave it for 24 hours before sealing it, and then leaving that for 24 hours before priming. So it's a long process, and I want to build up a little bit more along some of the edges. I'm thinking I might try to use this raised part to create a sort of pool in the middle, because it's a swamp dragon. So maybe have a pool of stagnant water or something using clear resin. Just an idea. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. So I attached the head to this guy, and not the wings yet. I'll leave that for when the base is ready. I will glue the body to the base and then the wings to the body, and then gap fill that. So yeah, we'll see how far we get. I mean, all the prep work is certainly going to be done by next week, and it'll be primed and possibly some layers of paint on it. I mean, it's mostly scales. This is mostly dry brushing and washing, so it's possible the actual paint process will go very quickly. On the other hand, this guy is really big, so that may take some time, so we'll see. but fingers crossed. Now, I did buy a bunch of metal minis from Reaper this month as well. Ordered it very early in June. It's not here yet. I think I got tracking on the package now, and I think it's going to be here by next Monday. So we'll show you those minis then and start painting them. But for now, it's all bones. Another all bones week. Let's put it this way. And I'm digging into this expansion, the Dungeon Dwellers, a little bit. This is a bunch of various characters from that, which I'm going to prep for bringing to the Games for Painting evening. This troll is from this expansion. However, these 3 trolls are from the core set, but I'm going to paint these at the same time because they clearly belong together. They have the same kind of basis, except this one came pre-assembled and these ones are some assembly required. And I think they have a very similar style, probably the same sculptor, so painting them as a set seems like a good idea. And then I wanted to do some bigger minis, so I pulled from the options the siege equipment. So we have a catapult, we have a trebuchet, and a ballista. And they have a little cute name. It's like a death rattle ballista, farflinger trebuchet, and the hammer fist catapult. Because these are essentially just wood and rope and a bit of metal. It's like 3 colors, maybe 4 if I do some iron and some bronze metal. Then 1 color and 1 rope. So they will be extremely easy to paint, I believe, despite being big minis. So that's I like it. It's the kind of project I enjoy. It gets something big finished quickly. And you know, maybe next week we'll dig in more into the Dungeon Dwellers. There's a lot of stuff. The Dungeon Dwellers box was the one that I already had the most from because Reaper spent a year handing out bonus minis every month for ordering from their website, and they were actually pulling from this set. I realized they're giving away previews of the set before the Kickstarter rewards actually got delivered. So some of the stuff like this ogre here, I've already painted this guy. And this owlbear, yeah, I've painted that too. And this fighter here, I painted him as well. So yeah, and I've already earlier this year, or maybe last year, I don't recall when, actually took out the kobolds and the orcs from the set and painted them in advance. So there's not that much left in this box, actually. It's a little light. So we got the troll here. This treasure, I don't think I've painted that yet. That's probably still in here somewhere. And this dragon, but I don't feel any need for more dragons right now, so I'm not sure I'm even going to paint this anytime soon. But as I said, we'll next week we'll dig into this box more and pull out everything and show it to you. But that was it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up and comment and subscribe if you haven't done so before. But above all, be back here next week. Same day of the week. Same channel. Same document. But for now, I'm signing off.